sometimes, and even me, who've known you for a long time, sometimes it's hard to discern what's Booker T and what's Booker T. And I think and I think that is where the issue lies for a lot of people online is they don't know when it's Booker T and when it's Booker T. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, guys. This wrestling. Okay. First and foremost, some young people that's sending out those tweets that's concerned about the relationship between me and Sasha Banks. If are we gonna make it through 2020? I hope it's some very, very young people, young kids, that think stuff like that. More than anything. Let's just hope. Like I say, me personally, I'm wishing. All right. You know the old saying.
I know the saying. I'm aware. Let's see. Some of the comments coming in, people are saying, tell her stands that book. Someone saying, preach. Twitter is a cesspool. A lot of people have a bad attitude. I hope everyone can dig that, sucker. Sasha Banks looking fine as hell, though, Booker T. So they keep coming through. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out there because, Twitter blows up. Twitter blows up on you sometimes.
No, man, bro, trust me. But on the real, though, I appreciate what Sasha Banks do. I really do. I mean, I appreciate what Sasha Banks bring to the table. I mean, she's a special talent, and she's better than the majority of the women that play that role and put in that position. And I'm just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. You got to be able to go out and make people feel a certain way, and I say that all the time. And Sasha, she has the ability to go out and make you feel a certain way when you watch her perform, and she, there again, is not afraid of throwing caution to the wind. She's willing to go out and put it all on the line inside the square circle. I appreciate that storytelling, man. She's a great storyteller. She knows how to go out and Phantom of the Opera, Shakespeare. She knows how to do that.
Oh, let's talk about the match, though. Sasha versus Bayley, Hell in a Cell. Now, after I saw Roman and Jay open the show, I was almost sure that Sasha and Bayley were going to close the show because they've had the biggest angle in my mind, maybe the biggest angle in the company going into this pay-per-view. This has been a slow burn for a very long time. Bayley, who I'll be honest, when she went heel, those first few, maybe that first month and a half, 2 months, I was like, I'm not really feeling this. I don't know if this was the right way to go. I think Bayley should have, stayed the course, even if it was getting a little, I don't want to say stale, but even if we were used to it, maybe she should have stayed the course. And then she did turn me around. She finally got to the point to where she embraced it. She would yell at Michael Cole and berate him, which always is a funny thing that any heel will do. I think Kevin Owens used to do something like that as well. It started to work. And her and Sasha became those stars of those early Performance Center quarantine shows. Remember? They were on everything. They were on SmackDown. They were on Raw. They were on NXT. They were defending the championships. They were the golden role models. And so this angle has been going for a while. When Sasha made the turn on when Bayley made the turn on Sasha, and Sasha's now babyface, Bayley's a heel. We knew we were going to get this, and I think that the Hell in a Cell, the issue with the pay-per-view in my mind sometimes, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is it forces you to have a cell match, right? You have to have one. We know we're going to have a cell match, and sometimes the feud doesn't warrant the Hell in a Cell stipulation. We haven't gotten there. Sometimes it's their first time.
Yeah.
And this is one, though, where it definitely needed the cell. The cell was warranted in this one. And I think those two women went out there and they put on a clinic inside that squared circle. What did you think of the Sasha and Bayley Hell in a Cell match?
I said it before, man. I said Bayley's may not be great at anything, but she's good at everything, man. She can go out, she can work. She's a worker.
See, some people take that as a slight, but you definitely don't mean it that way.
It's not a slight at all.
No. Yeah.
I wasn't great at anything, I really wasn't, but I was good. I was good at everything that I knew how to do. And then I knew how to tell a good story as well. That's what I mean by that. Bailey, she may not be able to go out there and do a hurricane run or a moonsault. She may not be able to, land the precision, over the top rope dive. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. But she can go out there and do the working parts of the business appropriately every single time. She's exceptional when it comes out to doing everything right in a match. And from the unexperienced eyes, definitely something that's going to go over your head. You don't see it. But for someone like myself, if I had 10 Baileys, on the show, on the roster, man, it would be a hell of a roster because everybody would know their role. Everybody would. It's just like when she was playing her babyface role. She knew exactly how to go out there and play her babyface role, do a little thing in the corner there and whatnot. Everything was fine. And she worked it pretty much as far as she could go with it until boom, flipping the switch and then turning heel. But I agree as far as, Bailey turning heel in the beginning. I didn't think it was something that was all that, hot. I didn't think it was something that was going to woo the people or anything like that. But the more she did it, the more she came out and perfected it. And then Sasha comes back, and then the best friend angle, get right back and play. And you can see something brewing. You can feel it. For me, actually, from a promoter standpoint, I could sense something going to happen there, and it was perfect. Bailey turning on Sasha opposed to Sasha turning on Bailey. We got a hell of a heel in Bailey. So why even mess that up at all? We could do something with Sasha. We might could turn her baby, but Bailey, she's set in right now. So let's go with it. Let's run with it. Let's keep this thing real hot. And then now Sasha coming back and getting a big win. I asked Sasha how you felt getting played. You know what I mean? Your buddy just, drop you off like a bad habit. How you feel? And then boom, 2 days later, she go out and win the title. So for me, the story was perfect to be told inside Hell in a Cell. The ladies went out and performed at a very, very high level. That's why I say I give Sasha Banks really, really high numbers as far as her talent goes. We could joke and play around back and forth all day. But I would be wrong if I sit here and said that Sasha Banks wasn't one of the top females in the company or one of the top females the company ever had. Okay, I'm willing to go there because she's very, very talented, and there again, a lot of people, a lot of the ladies in the locker room can learn from it, and that's no joke either, really, because you may be wondering sometimes what is Booker talking about, when he say that kind of stuff, like one got it and one don't have it, one need to work on something. What is he really talking about? There again, you can get all that information every Thursday night on Booker T's Wrestling 101. Just sign up for the class.
That's all you got to do.
Go to realitywrestling.com and you get all that information too. But it's real as far as the ones that separate themselves from the pack in professional wrestling. It's totally real. The guys that make it to the upper echelon to the point to where Sasha Banks has made history so many different times in this company, in this business, because she separated herself as a worker. Cream rises. She don't have to worry about getting booked. Okay, no matter what's going on, pandemic, whatever, because she's talent. Okay, and it means something to be talent. Bailey, she's talent. That's why she's on the roster every week. She's talent. So guys, understand what I mean when I say that. And there again, if you don't understand, just go to realitywrestling.com and join me Wrestling 101 every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time on Zoom.
Yeah, there you go. Make sure you get that plug in. But I agree with what you're saying about Sasha and about Bailey. I mean, they're two of the best to do it. And people were actually saying online that this may be their best match that they've had together. I remember the match in Brooklyn being very special, but this one was up there because they had all the elements. Kind of like what we were talking about, Roman and Jay. They had all the elements. They had a story there. And in these two matches, and even the main event, explains why it's so important to have a cohesive story going into big matches, because then they feel that much more special. They feel like there's a real payoff. They feel like they mattered instead of just having some random match on a random show, like toward like the end of WCW, where they would just have like the random match out of nowhere with no build. It's just a random match. In here we go. Titles on the line, random match, no one knew about it. It didn't feel as special. But when there was a story behind it, like when you and Jarrett had your first world title match, even though it was under the circumstances of Hogan, there was this story behind it that made it all that much more special. So when you won, it felt massive for multiple reasons. When Sasha won on Sunday night and she beat Bayley for that SmackDown Women's Championship, she became a Grand Slam champion. But even bigger than that, it felt like a moment that we will remember, having Bayley in that bank statement with the chair, pulling back on it, Bayley tapping out like crazy, Sasha holding the title. And then I even loved how Sasha came out in the all white, and then Bayley came out in the all black. There was no misconstruing who the righteous one was and who the wrong one was.
In the Cowboy days, the sheriff was always on the white horse, and the bad guy was on the black horse. It was total, night and day, dark versus light, good versus evil. I mean, it was a perfect story. And to watch the ladies there again step up to the point to where it could have been the main event. Mm-hmm. It easily could have been the main event if it would have been built as the main event. I don't think it would have been right to surprise the people with that match being the main event when Randy Orton is taking on Drew McIntyre. At the same time, two heavyweights, two bona fide heavyweights that's going to go toe to toe for the title. That right there is something that's been played on the marquee for the longest. And then that's a match we got to talk about as well, because Randy Orton, that Randy Orton, that guy, Randy Orton, 14-time to the mountaintop, the youngest WWE champion of all times at age 24. You wonder how many championships he has left, and kind of like Tiger Woods, how many green jackets are left? You gotta wonder. Hey guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We got a whole lot more for you. We got to talk about Randy Orton, because there again, I think Randy will go down in history as perhaps one of the greatest champions all times. Stick around. Back in a minute.